Hello and welcome. Let's talk how to plan your ultimate business success. In this video, I'm going to walk through my unique signature framework, my 5-step framework that I've created to help. Firstly, I created it to help me plan my year, and then I thought I'm going to share it with all of my clients and community as well, because I really enjoyed filling it out and I really enjoyed creating it. And there's lots of pieces in here that I wish that I'd had years ago, because I used to set goals all the time at the start of every year and also quarterly, monthly, but I wasn't good at actually making a plan to make them happen. I love setting them, I love dreaming, I love thinking about what I want, but to actually sit down and create action steps and make sure that the action steps are aligned with my values, aligned with the lifestyle I want and the person I want to be, that was an extra step that I wasn't really thinking about. And then I'd get disappointed when I didn't achieve those goals. So if you've ever set goals and not achieve them, it may be because you haven't had a process for actually planning how to put them into your life. Because without a plan, it doesn't just happen. I kind of thought, oh, I set my intention, it's going to happen. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought that if I just set this really strong intention that this is what I want, then I will filter in ways to find ways to make it happen. And to a certain extent, I had done that, but also I wasn't really super intentional with putting habits in place and putting actual tangible action steps in place. So I created a method that I personally love using, and I would love to share it with you. It goes beyond goal setting. It taps into who you want to be and make sure that it aligns with your vision and the person that you want to be. So if planning ever feels overwhelming for you and you want a really simple and fun way of planning, this is for you. So just dreaming or setting goals means you often end up disappointed. And in the work that I do with my clients, we dream really big and then we turn those dreams into actual tangible actions and a plan for you to achieve them. So if you want your business to grow month after month, then we've got some planning to do. And creating a plan can really evoke a sense of excitement and energy and inspiration. And it's a really good opportunity to reflect and kind of hit the reset button. You don't have to do this. You don't have to wait till the beginning of the year to do this. You can do this anytime. So if you're watching this later, it's never too late to make a plan. You don't have to just wait and hit the reset button at the start of each year. If you're here live, so good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Please engage in the comments. I always really appreciate hearing your thoughts, hearing your opinions, hearing your ideas, and having some real interaction here. So please do make some comments. I always appreciate it. Please hit like on this video and make some comments, because it also helps push it out to more people. So I'm sharing my powerful ultimate business success planner. It's my framework that helps you map out your business dreams, your priorities, your goals, your actions. It will help you plan an epic year, but as I said, you can do it anytime. So pop the word plan into the comments right now if you would like to get a copy of this planner. Hey, Laura, great to have you here. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Misha. Type the word plan into the comments and I will get it to you. If you're watching this later, like on YouTube or on a page, you can find the link somewhere around the video. So the challenge, if you don't have a clear plan to follow, is number one, you feel behind the 8 ball. I've actually created some slides for this. So I'm going to share my slides so that you can get a bit of a visual, which can actually help it bring excitement to this process. So if you don't have a clear plan to follow, you feel behind the 8 ball. You feel like you're chasing after your tail. You can sometimes feel a little bit directionless. I don't know if you've ever experienced this when you don't have a plan to follow. You wake up in the morning, you sit down at your computer and you kind of don't know where to start. There's lots and lots of things that you could be doing, but you're not really sure what you should be doing each day to get you towards that next goal that you have. And it often means that you keep repeating the same unhelpful patterns that you had in the previous month or quarter or year. Those patterns that we have, we're creatures of habit as humans. And if we don't intentionally change them, you're just going to keep repeating those same patterns. So habits don't change on their own. They don't change without intention and without effort. So I understand we need to allow room for spontaneity. We need to allow room for flow and We don't want our plan to be so rigid and so restricted that we feel, boxed in from it. A good plan, a plan where you create it in a really good state, when you have time and space to pause, to reflect, to think clearly, you can actually tap into higher wisdom. You can tap into your higher self and what's important to you, and you can make some really great decisions intentionally, rather than just allowing life to just take you where it wants you to go. So it means that you're the boss and you feel in control and in charge. It also means that you live in reaction mode rather than creation mode. If you don't have a plan, you kind of react to the environment and what's going on around you, other people's demands, pressures, your phone binging, emails coming through. I don't know about you, but suddenly coming back from a holiday, it's like, wow, there's just so much coming at me, questions, and it's great. Like, I love my work. I love people. I love helping people, but also you've got to be careful to protect your boundaries and protect your space, and make sure that there's time and space carved out intentionally so that you are in control of your life, rather than just allowing other people to dictate what you're doing. And if you don't have a plan, you also waste time. What happens when you don't put the big rocks in first, which is part of the process that I'll get to, is that your time will get sucked into the things that are maybe good to do but aren't great to do. I love that quote around how good is the enemy of great. You can say, oh, this is a good use of my time. I'm fixing up my website, or I'm fixing up this document, and maybe it is the best use of your time, but maybe there's something over here that you're avoiding that's actually a better use of your time. And without a plan, without sitting down and thinking, okay, what is important to me? What are my next goals that I'm going after? Very clear, very specific. And then what are the actual tangible steps I need to do every day to achieve them? When you have a plan, you stop wasting time. You are really effective with your time. You have a clear pathway to follow. You wake up in the morning, you know exactly what to do, and you just sit down and you follow it. When I started thinking about this year, it's a really big year for me. I'm getting married this year. I'm going away for a full month, which is big for me to take a full month out of my business and going on honeymoon and go to New Zealand and going to Fiji. And so I've been thinking really strategically about how to fit a lot of stuff into a short period of time. I have to plan an amazing wedding, all of the time that goes into that, and then build my business, look after my clients. And so I set a mantra: less is more. Do less, but achieve more, because I can just work very, very long hours, and I like it. I love working. So I don't mind working long hours, but I want to make sure that everything I do in my business is strategic. And so I decided that the key to it is planning, and my habit for January is planning, and I'm going to add another habit in February. So every single morning, wake up, first thing I do is write, rather than react to my phone. And because I used to wake up and I would text my partner, text my sisters, like have a look around. But now it's wake up, grab my journal, sit up in bed and just write. And I schedule the day. I put in my big rocks for that day. And that habit so far has really changed the way I feel in the mornings and throughout the day. And I just keep my plan open. I do it on paper and I keep it open next to me on my desktop. I love spreadsheets. I love all of that. But I'm finding that this is really an incredible way to keep myself focused, keep myself on track, and feel really, really good. I keep walking around my house going, man, I feel so good. And I think it's this habit of planning every single day. And I know I've been hearing it for years, but for some reason the habit just wasn't sticking. The other thing I do is write every night before I go to bed as well. I just write out any open loops, anything that I want to put into the next day. I just put it into the next day and close it. And I've been sleeping better. So I've just really been feeling the effects of being committed to doing this on a daily basis. It means you feel in control and you know what you're doing. Like, I know that my previous self has set up my future self. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm so grateful to past Kat for setting up present Kat so that future Kat is in a better position. I like thinking of it in this way. So before you start the actual digging into the plan, I'd like you to ask yourself, what would I do in my business if I knew I could not fail? You have a clear slate, you have a blank slate, you have your whole life in front of you. What do you want your business to be like? Do you want to run retreats? Do you want to spend less time in front of the laptop and more time in front of people physically? Do you want to spend less time in front of people physically and put some systems in place? Do you want to automate some things? One thing that I've been doing over this period is my partner and I have been setting up so much automation in the back end of my business. And oh my gosh, it feels amazing. I was pretty good at automation. I'm very efficient with time, but I realized there were all these gaps that needed plugging in my business. And he just sees them. He'll go, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that manually? Let's automate that. And we've been going through every system in my business and plugging the gaps, and it just feels incredible. I highly recommend it. And that's why I've built this into the plan, because there's a whole section on plugging the gaps and figuring out, because there's always going to be leakages in business. There just is. I was talking to a lady yesterday and she's like, oh, I feel like there's so much to do. And I said, there is always so much to do in business. There's always things to improve. There's always things to learn forever. That's something I love about business, is that you'll continue to grow forever. But some of the leakages are more high priority. If you think of triaging in an emergency department, I remember when I learned first aid, they talked about if something's like levels of importance. And I remember they taught us to go up to imagine that we're going up to a car crash scene. Who do we deal with first? And my partner was a paramedic for many years, and he talks about triaging the bleeding. You've got to stop the bleeding. The heart, the heart can only stop beating for so much time. We can only stop breathing for so much time. So we've got to look at those things that are really leaking and costing us a lot of money. And that's the thing that we need to make sure that we're plugging and not avoiding, because it's easy to avoid those things that are hard. So I want you to think, if I knew I couldn't fail, if I had all the time and resources that I needed, if I had all the courage and self-belief that I needed, really dream. Look at the blue sky if you can, or look at some nature, or sit under a tree and sit with a journal and just go, what do I really want? How do I want my business to be? What's your perfect week? Write it out and then go and live it. Imagine if you decided this year, I want to live my perfect dream week, and you created it and crafted it exactly as you wanted it. You wake up when you want, you drink what you want, you start work when you want, you hang out with who you want. You can do it. It's your life. You can create it however you want. I know there's some existing constraints that we have to bear in mind, but so often we limit ourselves and we box ourselves when there's all this creative possibility. So I want to give you a little look at the back end and just talk you through each of the phases in this plan and why I've created it, why I have. So firstly, we've got the business up level. And the business up level is basically taking what you're doing at the moment and making it better. So it's asking yourself up level questions like, how are you going to up level? So reflective questions, they're a really helpful way to decide what you want to leave behind and what you want to bring into your new season, so that you can shape your goals and you can be really purposeful. So on the plan, let me just share the plan with you. I've done it on a spreadsheet because it's easy to just kind of hang your ideas under each column. Sometimes I find a Word doc isn't great for that. And I've put a whole heap of examples. So what do I want to do more of? I really thought about the examples for the things that I hear with my clients. So just take the time to look at these examples and go, yeah, do I want to send more emails? Do I want to have a weekly blog post? I remember years ago, I set a goal to write 50 blog posts in a year, and I did it. But halfway through the year, I was like, I don't actually really enjoy writing blog posts. but I love jumping on video. So I'm going to jump on video and then I'm going to get someone to transcribe it or get software to transcribe it. By the way, when you're thinking about delegation, I always recommend that you go automation and then delegation. I was recently about to delegate something to a VA, and then I realized I can get AI to do that. It was actually turning long videos like this one into short reels. I was going to pay someone to do it, to go through my video and find little snippets and turn them into reels. And then I found a way to do it through AI. There's a system that you can use. Just message me if you want to know about it. And it's brilliant. I put my videos in and it spits out all these reels, short reels. You say the time that you want it to be, like between 30 and 60 seconds. It rates them in terms of how hooky it is, how likely it is to go viral, and it puts the captions on for you, and it's very affordable. So let me know if you're interested. But I nearly paid someone to manually, humanly do that. And there's some things only humans can do, always, but automate first and then delegate. So rather than paying someone to transcribe, now AI does it, and you can just check for spelling mistakes. Actually, comment automate if you want me to message you about some of the things that I've automated. Just pop the word automate in the comments and I'll send you a message about some of the things that I've been putting in place to save heaps of time. So when I was going to write these 50 blog posts, I was committed to it. I was going to do it. But what I did then is transcribed my videos and got my VA to put them on my website every week. And now it's a system. It's been going for years. Every single week I record a video. It goes up on my website. It goes on YouTube. It goes out to my email list. And it's a system. You don't have to think about it, and it's done. And it takes care of a big chunk of my content creation. So think about what you would like to do more of. It could be specific tasks in your business. It could be that you've just you need a little bit more downtime. You need a little bit more spaciousness. So more of, less of, start and stop. What skills do you want to develop? Because your skill set is where you'll make the money. The reason that your income improves is because your skills improve, pretty much always. This is a pattern that I've seen for many, many years in business. As I get better at selling, I make more money. As I get better at marketing, I make more money. As I get better at presenting, I make more money. So what are those skills that are going to directly give you more money? If you're not getting the income that you want right now, if you don't have the number of clients that you want, it's probably a skill set. And I love that we can improve our skill sets anytime. Any of us can improve our skill sets. We can just go and learn and practice and get mentored and all of that good stuff. So that is the business planner, the business up level. I really like these ones. What have you been avoiding or neglecting? My word for the year is leadership. And what I did, I think it was about the 3rd of January, I went to the beach with my friend and we put this tent up and we had snacks and drinks, and it was a beautiful day. We went to this beach, Maroubra, and we took our journals and we just lay there and we wrote. And I wrote, what do great leaders do? What do great leaders not do? And I wrote and wrote and wrote about leadership, because leadership's so meaningful to me, because it's about mastering your own leadership of your own life first, and then being able to lead others well. So looking at self-mastery and leading your own life. And then I wrote down something that great leaders do is they face hard things. They're not afraid to have hard conversations. They're not afraid to face problems and go in eyes wide open. They don't avoid things. So this is a really powerful question. I know some of these questions look simple, but don't underestimate the power that these questions have to really change your life, not by reading them, not by having a spreadsheet in your hard drive, but answering them and actually putting a plan in place to do them. All righty, so that's the business up level. That's tab 1. The second tab is the business health check. And in our community, we use a traffic light system. So red means I haven't done it. I really need to do something about it. Yellow means I've done it. I've started it. It's on its way. It needs some improvement, but it's yellow. And then green means it's good for now. and I can move on. So green doesn't mean perfect. Green just means it's not fully leaking. It's not urgent. It's good. It's ticked off. I can improve it later, but I'm not going to get caught up in it. So there's 8 pillars in the client attraction roadmap that that my clients follow. So the 8 pillars are basically in order of what you need to do to attract clients. And we start off with preparing your plan, making sure that you're clear on your goals, your vision, and making sure you're really clear on who you're serving. And a lot of people, they're not clear on who they're serving and how to speak to them and the unique messaging and how to attract them through their language. And so all these other pillars don't work. And so that very first pillar, if you've got a red on ideal client messaging, then it doesn't matter how much you do on social media, content, emails, sales, all the rest of the pillars, it won't work. So over 20 years in business, I've realized that we've got to do things in order for them to work. Doesn't mean things are perfectly in order all of the time. Of course, business has a lot of mess and chaos, but this is why a lot of people are struggling, is because they're trying to do this piece, but this piece isn't in place. So they're watching lots of free videos and getting lots of bits and pieces of information, but they don't have a clear A to Z, do it in this order. And so the traffic light system is basically a way of visually getting a snapshot. So you basically take these boxes and you paste them in here. So there's 8 pillars in the client attraction roadmap. You'll see the 8 pillars here. And then under each of the pillars, there are milestones. So these are clear milestones. It's not vague and fluffy. It's I have it or I don't have it. I have it and it's on its way. That's why I don't have yes or no. It's green, yellow, or red to give you a little bit of grace. So you basically just take the color and you just drop it into the appropriate box. And then when you sit down at your computer to decide what to do, you start right at the top and you go to the first red. And that's a leakage that you need to plug. So all of the reds become leakages and they help you identify what to work on. If you're about to have a sales call and you haven't practiced your strategy session script, then that is what I would work on. So if you've got something coming up, then that's the thing that you focus on. If you've got a workshop coming up, then make sure that you're working on that workshop because it's got a date attached to it. But anything that doesn't have a date attached to it, then you just work in order on your way down. So you just fill that in, you put the date, and you can do it at the beginning of each month. What I would recommend is that you put it in your calendar, you put it in your diary, maybe the first Monday of every month, you sit down and you fill it out. So this gives you 12 months worth. So that is the business health snapshot. If you've got any questions, please pop them into the chat box because I know this is a bit of a like a training. So happy to answer any of your questions after we jump off. The next one is the growth gap identifier. And this really, really helped me because you know how in your head you can sometimes just have so many things that you want to do, but you don't know which one to start. And there are leakages that are more important than others to plug, especially when it comes to looking after people and making sure that you cover your bills and making sure that you're not getting caught up on things that are maybe nice to haves, but not must haves. And we can really do this in our business because what happens is we often want to do what's in our comfort zone. You know, we want to do those things that we feel confident in, and we don't want to go outside of the comfort zone and do the things that we're not so good at. Like if you don't have a whole lot of sales calls booked into your calendar right now and you need more clients, it may be an area that's leaking that you need to plug. If you don't have money coming in consistently, covering your bills so you don't have stress around money, probably a leakage you want to look at pretty quickly. So we want to make sure that we're really honest with ourselves and we go, okay, this is an area that I have to focus on. And when you have a way to hang those things under categories, it can really help directionalize your brain. So I've put the 8 categories here, the 8 pillars. I've put the activities that we do under each of the pillars of client attraction, and then you can just brainstorm the gaps and then the actions that you want to take. And I put a whole heap of examples here for you on tab 4 so that you can see all of the things that need to be done in your business. This is gold. This is gold for you to know, for you to sit down and go, okay, I know exactly what to do to attract clients, and I just follow the plan. I hope this is helpful for you. Let's have a look at the next one, which is to set your success intentions. So this is something I took quite a bit of time to create, because I like to create intentions that go beyond a checklist of tasks and what you want to do, but also who you want to be, and focus on things like the impact you want to make in people's lives, the qualities that you want to embody, the values that you want to prioritize. This really encourages a very deliberate alignment with what's most important to you. And it kind of acts like a compass, like a guiding light, which can really bring you a lot of excitement and fulfillment by making sure that these are aligned. So I spent a bit of time really thinking about these questions, because success means different things to different people. So if you just fill these out, you will start to feel differently. Like you'll actually, if you really think about these, you'll find that you'll just start to think about business slightly different. That's what happened to me anyway. And especially the character traits. I'm finding that throughout the day, because I wrote down 4 character traits. I wrote down peaceful, playful, powerful, and present. So those are 4 character traits that I want to be. Why is it important to me? Because I want to be the kind of person who lives her values. I want to be someone that feels really excited to just be with myself, because I'm proud of myself and I don't have regrets. Your values, like I put courage as one of my values that I want to prioritize and live by this year. I put fun, I put impact. So don't underestimate the power of answering these questions, not just listing them out. And then the final one is the big rocks. And the big rocks, basically where you put those big things in first, those really important things, you put them into your calendar first, and everything has to come around those big rocks. You've probably heard that analogy of placing the big rocks in a jar first. And this means that we make sure the jar of our life is filled with the most significant things. Otherwise, it can just get really crowded with little things that aren't really aligned or meaningful to you or meaningful to your overarching vision. So the sequence of how I personally arrange my big rocks in my annual calendar, and I've been doing this for a while. I remember a mentor said, always put yourself in first before other people in your calendar. And it was quite different for me. Like I would usually put my business in first, but what I put in first is holidays, rest days, and thinking days. And I make them bright pink and I put them in the calendar, and I can see how many days I've got as holidays, rest days, and thinking days. I'm doing a thinking day once a month. On the first Monday of every month is just a whole day devoted to thinking and planning and just being strategic, turning off all my notifications, not having any appointments. I'm doing thinking 5 minutes every day, which seems very small, but I sit in my massage chair and I just close my eyes and put on just some instrumental music and just think. And I'm going to keep growing that, but I'm starting with just 5 minutes. I've got a thinking hour every week. It's on a Friday. I put it in my calendar and it's just sitting down, thinking, planning, not consuming. So those go into my calendar first. Then important social events. So people's birthdays, weddings, things like that. Next is my client events. So I run VIP client events throughout the year. I put those dates in, and then I put my marketing dates in, my marketing events into the calendar. Then I put education and training. So always up leveling, always investing in courses and programs, and always part of those types of communities. So I put those dates in, and then everything has to fit around it. So that is the Ultimate Business Success Planner. I hope that that's helped you, just having a bit of a walkthrough. And again, if you want a copy, just drop the word plan into the comments, or around this video will be a link for that. I am so excited to send that to you and for you to sit down and really enjoy creating your business success plan. So have an amazing rest of your day. Keep shining, keep showing up, keep sharing. I look forward to seeing you soon. Big love. Bye.